That just.
Oh, that just.
Hello, everyone. I think we are live. Can everyone in the chat, can you just let us know if you can hear us? Just because we want to make sure.
We tend to shut off the mic. Hi, James. I seen you over at Crazy Disney Lady. I keep wanting to say Crazy Cat Lady, but it's Crazy Disney Lady.
Yeah.
Rachel. Hi, Rachel. How you doing?
All right, and James is the first one in the chat.
Yep.
So,
you win a car.
Yeah. So if you guys should just plug into the chat that you can hear us. We do have a special guest tonight to kind of answer questions about Universal Studios and their opening. As you know, I think they're opening to guests tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah.
So it might be a good time to get the scoop, get some tips.
Yep.
Let's give people a couple more minutes to try to filter in here.
Yep.
Before we unveil our guest.
Where'd you go? Oh. I hate when you do this because I can't see things.
Yeah, I on the back end, I'm just trying to look around, trying to see how many people we got before we get started. Gets her a little nervous.
Yeah, because I can't see anything.
You're computer illiterate, is what I say.
Well, he does everything too fast, and I can't see it. That's why.
All right, just let me check some things here, and then we'll get right into this.
See, now you got us lagging.
Don't worry, I'm just breaking out the chat.
All right.
All right. All right, so we got Rachel and James in the chat, and I think we'll have a couple more later on. So why don't we introduce our guest? Do you want to introduce?
Yep. Okay, here comes Lauren of Lauren's Travels. We never have guests, so we're like, no,
yeah. So don't
this is
critique
Lauren,
us too much.
everybody, from Lauren's Travels. That's her channel. I'm like
Lauren's Travels.
I couldn't think what it's her name channel.
Hi, everybody.
Yep, so she's here. She's going to help us. She was at one of the team member previews of Universal Studios. So I think she can offer up a lot of the observations, maybe offer some tips and tricks. I know we have a bunch of questions we want to ask. Part of it's selfish because we have a trip coming up, but we also know there's others that are looking to go to Universal as well and may have the same types of questions. So I think, Lauren, hopefully you're going to help provide us with some information.
Right. I know James has a trip. I'm not sure if he was planning on going to Universal or not, but he likes Universal, so he might be interested in these tips.
Yeah. So do you want to maybe just tell everybody about yourself, about your channel?
Sure. So Lauren's Travels is my channel. I've had it for a little over a year now. And it started really as like travel and theme park channel. I like to go around different cities in Florida and do other attractions as well as the parks. And I this year started kind of like a theme park history series. So I've been trying to make videos that aren't really out there just because there are really good history theme park channels. And I want to do something maybe a little bit different than what is already out there. And yeah, I just filmed my video for Universal's reopening. I work there as a team member, and we got to have like a special preview on Monday before it opens to the public tomorrow. So yeah, it's been really exciting. Everyone's, I've gotten a lot of good feedback on the video. So yeah, I'm excited to hopefully do more videos where things are just starting to reopen because we start to go into phase 2 tomorrow as far as the whole COVID-19 stuff is going on. So yeah, it's an interesting time, and I'm hoping my videos can help people, plan their trips when they come here.
Cool. And definitely check out our channel. I really love the theme park history videos. I always watch those. I like how they're edited, and anything history related, I love watching.
Me too.
So that's always nice. And we got Rob Fuzz.
Rob Fuzz.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah. Hey, Rob, thanks for joining us.
Is it buzz, buzz, buzz?
Yeah, well, that's on the upload.
Yeah, he's not doing the thing today. We don't have the right buzzer.
Yeah, and we have Movie Mania Nick.
Welcome in, everybody.
Hello.
This is Lauren from Lauren's Travels. She's going to talk to us about Universal.
So
Yes.
and then we also have Amy here from AJC Magic TV. Welcome. So Lauren, maybe we can get started with asking some questions. And guys, if you have questions in the chat, just plug them into the chat, and we'll try to pull those in and make sure that we'll try to get Lauren to see them and maybe can answer some of those as well. So I'll let you go.
All right, so I'm going to start right from the beginning.
Let's do it.
We're right about this, like the parking situation. How was it to get in the parking lot? Did they do every other level or every other parking space? How did that work? I'm just curious.
So I was already a little anxious about going because I know that it was limited attendance. That's all they've told us is limited attendance. So I woke up really early. I left my house around 7:30 and got to the parking garage right before 8. So that's when they didn't have anybody coming in just yet. So I think they do open it 1 hour before the park opens. And they're parking the cars every other lane. So I'd like to take my time anyways getting out of the car. So I'll take my time to, put my mask on, keep that airflow for a little bit longer before I go out. So I didn't have any problems in the parking garage at all.
All right. So
now, do you think later in the day, because I think I was reading some reports from some other vloggers where they were saying it took them like an hour to get through the parking lot or an hour to get through the security part and into the parks?
Yeah, I think it's going to vary, honestly, because the hotels are still not open yet. So they don't have as much traffic, but it is, the first few days of the park reopening. So I think there is going to be, some traffic flow. And I'm hoping that maybe Universal will keep an update like on the app to let people know, hey, we are getting close to capacity, maybe try to visit a little bit later on. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think this is also kind of like a testing time for Universal. I hate to say it like that, but they are learning as they're going along. Maybe they do need to limit the amount of people that they're letting in through the parking garage at a time and, tell people come back later. I'm not really sure how they'll go about that, but I think, because of the special circumstances, everyone just has to take that into consideration and just try to be a little patient as everything goes forward.
Cool. And I want to welcome Stevie Lee into the chat. Thanks for joining us.
So all right. So the next thing is we're out of the parking lot and we're going in the procedure to, you have to get your temperature and all this stuff. How did that go? And
that went really well. So the line was pretty long because they hadn't started letting people into that, past that temperature check, because that's the first thing you do before you even get through the moving walkways. So I did notice that everybody was staying 6 feet apart there. And it was a very quick process. I was wearing a hat, so I just had to lift it up a little bit so they could actually see my forehead. But it's very quick process and it went fast. And I think it's because of that helps make the line move too.
Cool. And any issues? Because I know there's security going through the metal detectors. I'm assuming that still works the same way, just with social distancing rules in place.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, I didn't see too many stickers there, like at that certain area, because I saw some pictures from today that people posted on Twitter where it looked like it was a little jam-packed. So maybe, they're going to start to put more stickers out there, I would hope. But yeah, I could see that being an area where after the temperature checks, it might be. But almost every lane was open. So I think that helped too. Like, everybody had an option of where to go.
Rob Fuzz has a question. Did you see anyone not allowed in because of their temperature? No. And
it was all happening so fast. I was just like, gotta go. I just need to go into the park.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't see anybody get turned away.
Okay.
And I like that question from Rob Fuzz, because what I actually did is I did buy an infrared thermometer and have been testing it out here.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the unit that I bought, but at times I find it's not totally accurate. So there have been times where someone in the family has had like 100.2, but then when I use the oral one that you put in your mouth,
right,
it's like 97.9, or it's
and then we take it again with that, and then it's normal.
Yeah,
so it might just, I don't know.
I think that's one of the things we're worried about is, especially if it's hot there, that going to raise the temperature.
That's another reason why I like to stay in the car a little bit longer too, because as soon as you get out of the car, you're going to start getting hot. So take your time, getting out of the car, getting yourself situated. And if you need to sit down and rest, do that. Try not to overheat, drink a lot of water. But honestly, that whole parking garage, unless you park at the top, is shaded.
Right.
So it shouldn't be an issue. And I want to say that they're like, the best that Universal could get. So I don't think they're super faulty in any way.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think it should be too big of an issue. But yeah, if you're feeling any kind of sickness, you shouldn't go anywhere. That's just a heads up.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So another one. We did security. So what about, did you see a lot of signage and hand sanitizer stations? Because I know
everywhere.
Okay. So they do have a lot. Okay.
Yeah, there's hand sanitizer inside the stores on the wall, like right when you enter. There's hand sanitizers at the counter when you're paying. There's hand sanitizers in all the gift shops. Like I've had multiple times. Oh, here's some hand sanitizer. Here's some hand sanitizer. So you don't even have to even bring your own, I would say. I mean, everyone has it there. And then they make you use hand sanitizer before you get on the rides too.
Okay. All right. Cool. Hi, Stacy.
Hello, welcome in. You might enjoy this. This is
we're talking about Universal. You know Lauren. I think you know Lauren.
Yeah.
That she's a team member, and she is going to give us some tips of her experience the other day when she went.
Yeah, and also welcome in Make It Blue, a Disney adventure. Welcome in, and girl friendly vacay.
Yeah, everyone's jumping in.
Yeah. And if you guys, Rachel, if you could just put in Lauren's.
Link to her channel, Lauren Travels.
Lauren's Travels, yeah.
Yep. All right. So all right. Another question about team members. Are there a lot of team members around instructing guests and telling them, put your mask on, or there's this over here, or hand sanitizer over here? Are they kind of doing that?
I didn't see too many team members like out.
Okay.
But there was signage everywhere. And there are now rest stops that Universal made throughout both parks where you can go and take your mask off and be in a bigger area, take a sip of water, relax. So they've made those spots available if you do need to take your mask off. But I didn't see anyone with their mask off, just if they're taking a sip of water. And even then they were, farther away. So I didn't see that issue.
Did you go in that area to sit down and take your mask off? Did you go in that area at all?
I didn't go in those specific areas because they weren't set up on Monday when I went. But I've seen that they have that old Sinbad Theater that's open. That's a whole shaded area, which looks really nice.
And then they go take your mask off in there?
Yeah, you can take your mask off and take a seat and relax. But I tried to show maybe a few places in my video where I noticed that you could just sit down and there was nobody really around. So I try to look for those areas anyway when I go to the park because I like a little, break from the crowds.
Right.
But yeah, there's plenty of, I think that's one thing that's different from Universal parks compared to other theme parks is they have those areas already where it's kind of like a quiet area. So I don't think anybody would have a problem, resting from the mask for a little bit.
And hello, Charlie from the Nerd Herders. So he joined in.
Yep.
So Stacy are in here.
Yep. Okay. We're like, what else? I'm trying to see.
One thing I wanted to ask another thing that I'm a little confused about is do you experience the virtual line?
They didn't even have that going when I went because I don't want to rub it in, but there was nobody there.
I noticed that.
I didn't wait. I only waited a little bit for the Mummy because it went down right when I got there. But I didn't really wait for anything. And I tried to get a virtual line because they actually had it open for us, the Pteranodon Flyers, which you could only ride if you have a little kid with you, but they were letting people go on one at a time on that. That was the longest line in the park. It was over an hour.
Go on it.
Yeah, because they can only put one person on at a time, so the line is just backed up. So I was just I'm not going to do it. But yeah, that was the longest line of the day was that ride. So
adults can't really go on it unless you're with a little kid. So
yeah, I think it's because of weight issues, like the way it swings and everything. So they were just allowing one person on each vehicle.
Cool. Do you know how the virtual line will work? I mean, I think from what I've seen, it looks like you can use the app to schedule a time for a ride.
Yeah, and there's also, I saw that they have signs with the QR codes, so you can just scan it with your phone and then put a time too. So I think you can do it both ways, but I wanted to try it out. I just didn't get the chance to when I was there. And same with mobile order. I would suggest people to update their information on the app. That way you're able to quickly get your food, place your order in, and then by the time you get to the restaurant, just walk in, take it, and find an empty table. Because they're not allowing people to stand around. Like when you go into a restaurant or a quick service place, they really want you to order, go sit down. They'll bring everything to you. They don't want a lot of large groups standing around.
Oh. All right.
And is it like what type of, when you mobile order, so are they accepting all forms of payment, just not cash?
Yeah, it's kind of like how Disney, like when you go to mobile order, you already have your credit card stored on the app. So you'll just, place your order for the restaurant, and then it'll tell you, okay, when it's ready, and then you can just go and get it. But I just went in because there was nobody when I went. I like to go to the Today Cafe. They have some like healthy options.
Yeah,
it's my favorite one.
And how was the seating at the quick service restaurants? Did they move out some chairs? Did they distance them apart, or what was that like?
When I went to Today Cafe, they had reserved signs on some of the tables so that nobody would sit at them. And they make you sanitize before you even order. Right when you walk in, you sanitize. And then I got some coffee, so I wanted creamer, and she gave me the creamer instead of how it was before, where you could pour your own. So they're just kind of minimizing the things that you're touching in the area, so that they're disinfecting before and after each person. So yeah, they're on top of it.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions here in chat before we move on. So James Ryan's asking, how are they preserving social distancing on the train between Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade?
I haven't done that, but I would assume that they only put one party in each car, and maybe not load every other car, because that's how they were doing it on the rides. At least they were not loading you with people behind you. I had, for Spider-Man, for example, there was only people sitting in the front row and people sitting in the back row, and that's it. So they're trying to make people distance. So I would assume that's how it would be on the train. I think that when the team members open the door, that they can control which door they open. So maybe they're controlling it that way. I'm not sure.
Yeah, just waiting, having that people wait until they clear out and then come out, and like that.
Yeah.
Well, plus they probably didn't have it running because they didn't. You couldn't. The annual pass holders had to pick one park. I don't think
we were able to hop.
You could hop, but I don't think the annual pass holders probably couldn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what I saw was you could set a schedule and you only could. It was pick one day in one park. And
gotcha.
I think that's what I saw.
Stacy had a question.
So Stacy from the Disney Nerd Herders wants to know, how are the Harry Potter stores? They have tight quarters, and what are they doing in regards to social distancing there?
Not all of them were open. Okay. The way that those shops are built is very, it's true to theming. Like a lot of shops in England are very small. The streets are very narrow. So because of that reason, not all of the stores were open. But that's another thing. Like a lot of the things you can find in those stores, you can find in the main gift shop. Right. So I really wouldn't stress it too much if you're looking to buy some Harry Potter stuff. But yeah, they weren't having everything open. And to be honest, I wasn't really shopping too much, but I did go into other stores and there was not a lot of people in them. So I don't know if they're going to have people kind of like how they did at Disney Springs, where they have like a dedicated group just assigned to making sure people social distance. I don't know if they're going to have that at Universal or not, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, so I think I was watching a stream. I was watching Resort TV 1 yesterday, and I noticed a couple of things. One, I think they were having lines outside to get into those Harry Potter shops, so they must be limited how many. And with the tight quarters, I could believe it's very minimal. The thing And the other thing that I'm really interested in trying is the Ollivanders wand shop, because again, that's an experience, and that's like quarters as well. And what they actually did is one party get to go in at a time. So one party scheduled the time to go in. And it was only like 3 of them were in to experience that.
That's pretty cool.
So now I tell Meredith, I'm like, yeah, we've done it before when it first opened, but how great of it would it be with just the 4 of us in there?
Yeah, and there, I think you just have to be wary of a few areas in the park, like Islands of Adventure, for example. Right now, they're doing construction in the Jurassic Park area, so there are a lot of areas where it kind of funnels. So I would just say, if you're worried about keeping the social distance, just be patient and kind of let everybody else go, and then, take your time, find some shade to wait. Because there are some areas of the park where it is a little bit smaller and closer quarters. So I would just say, keep that in mind. If it's your first visit, I would wait to go, just because it is different right now. Not everything is open and you might not get that full experience you wanted. But everything is, it's a learning curve for Universal too. So I'm sure they'll try to find ways. Like when the Wizarding World first opened, you had to wait to get in the Wizarding World. You had to get a ticket.
We did that, yes.
Yeah.
You had to actually get a special ticket to get in.
Yeah. And it was crazy. And I kind of liked that you had to wait to go in, just like how Galaxy's Edge was too with the previews. You had to wait for your time to go in because it's so small. So I wonder if they'll bring something like that back.
Makes sense. So Charlie from the Nerd Herd was wondering, what do the Universal workers think about Disney not opening until July?
I don't know. I can't speak for all of them. I am not a spokesperson.
Do you have thoughts?
I mean, that's one of the hottest months. I mean, it's going to be hot no matter what, no matter which park you go to. But I know that Universal had all of their restaurants open. And I know that you mentioned that Disney is kind of canceling those. So maybe it would be a little less stressful visit to Universal than Disney right now. But yeah, I don't know. It's SeaWorld's opening up soon too. So I think everyone's on their own different path. Fun Spot opened up before everybody. So it's interesting to see everybody's opening. And I hope that each park can learn from the other as far as, going forward with, because there's still no cure for coronavirus. So, as it goes on, I hope that everyone can kind of learn from each other.
I want to welcome in Decide Dream. Thank you for joining the stream. And I saw one other person, big Disney fan. Thank you for joining. We have Lynch Travels with us. She went to the team member preview at Universal on Monday. And you're a local, so we're trying to get some snow Universals open up with some restrictions in place.
Right. And I know there's another question. Oh, the ride, the masks. About the ride.
Yep. So I got Stevie Lee wondering, are rides available to ride, and is the hard wearing a mask while doing it?
The only rides I found difficult were the 3D rides, because you're wearing those glasses and it starts to fog up. Yeah, so if you can move your mask down just a little bit so it doesn't completely fog up, that was the only uncomfortable part for me. But when I was on Hagrid's, the wind goes right through your mask. So you're on some rides, you won't feel it. It won't bother you.
Now, did you feel like while you were like on Hagrid's, or I don't know if you went on Hulk or anything like that, did you ever feel like you had to hold on to the mask, like that it would fall off, or?
So I got this mask off of Etsy. It's a Harry Potter Slytherin mask, and it wasn't the kind that goes behind your ears. It's the kind that ties around your head. So I would recommend maybe to get some of those for the rides, and then bring the disposable ones, for just walking around. But I do recommend bringing more than one mask, because you are going to be sweating, and it's just good to kind of like change that out. So I would recommend bringing at least 2, maybe 3 masks with you. But have your like designated ride mask maybe for, just getting on those attractions.
And I think on the water rides, you don't have to wear a mask. I thought I saw that somewhere, like Jurassic Park, you could take it off. You don't have
Yeah,
to wear it.
I think that's the case. I didn't go on any because I try not to get soaked. But
Yeah.
I do want to go back one day and just do all water rides like you guys did
Yeah.
at Undone.
Yeah.
And I think that they had their mask off,
Right.
and they lost it on the ride, and I
Yeah,
think
they put it on their lap, and then they went on Jurassic Park, and then it must have blew away, or when they got up, they forgot about it and it fell, and they couldn't find it, and then they were like, where do we go? We don't have a mask.
But I think team members helped walk them through how to still stay covered until they could.
Yeah, I guess they just used a poncho to cover their mouth, and then they went to the store, and Universal sells masks, right?
Yeah.
So that's good that they sell them.
Yeah, they and I was upset because I wanted to buy some Universal specific ones when I went, but they didn't have them out just yet. But they just came out now, and they have 3 different styles that I saw. But the masks were $6 for one, or you could buy 3 for $15. So it was a pretty good deal.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
How much for one? I couldn't hear you. You were breaking
$6.
$6 for one? Not bad.
Yeah.
I hope Disney does the same because I mean, it's a hot commodity right now. Everyone needs one, so
More than one.
Yeah.
Ideal.
yeah, more than one. Yeah.
Rachel from of Rachel Loves Disney is wondering. I'm not sure if this is announced, but I think they're still going to have Halloween Horror Nights, and if so, have you heard how it will work this year?
I don't know anything about Halloween Horror Nights. I'm waiting for them to say. But I did see that people are able to get passes. I saw 1 or 2 people post on Twitter that they were able to get the frequent fear pass. So it's still happening. And I follow some of the creative people that work for Halloween Horror Nights, and they're saying that planning's still going on. So I have a good feeling that it is happening, but nothing's been said yet. So I hope they start saying, some things soon. But I would really like less people at that event anyways. So I hope that they do limit
And
it.
I think that's what they're going to. I think that's what I read I think they're going to have it because I know Disney's has said they're still having their Halloween party. So I know we have tickets for one of the Halloween parties in August. But it looks like it's going to be a really hard ticket to get. I'm going to try to scuff up more while we're down there if it's going to be that limited, I'd want to go. So I could imagine Halloween Horror Night.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
HHN is. Hopefully it's not as crowded. It's very limited.
Yeah, I wonder though, because with the Disney Halloween party, the fireworks are a big entertainment part
that
of
the parade too.
Right.
Yeah, so I wonder how that's going to work because their meet and greet areas are pretty small too. As far as like the ones where you go inside, like Tinkerbell and things like that, those are pretty small. So I wonder how they're going to do it. But I don't like at Universal, all of the characters you could take pictures with them, but they were still 6 feet away, even if they were the fully clothed or fully costumed characters.
Yeah.
They were 6 feet away. So I wonder how that will work at Disney too. Probably the same.
They were behind a little.
I think it started on your stream, right? They were all behind, but it was still nice to see them out, and you had plenty of room.
You could
take had so many out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was characters everywhere I went. So I think that they were trying to make everybody happy in the best ways that they could. Even if you had to take pictures 6 feet apart, you're getting like all of the cast of Scooby-Doo there. And it was just cool. So
I actually saw they had Popeye and Pluto in Two Lagoon. I'm not sure where I saw that, but they were out, and we haven't seen them since Madison was really small.
Yeah.
So they were bringing out like some of the rare ones that you don't see anymore.
Yeah.
So Amy from AJC Magic says, I think her niece was at one of the annual pass holders.
Yeah. She worked
days.
She started.
She started at
Island Adventures.
Yeah, so she started at Island Adventures and was able to take the train to Universal side. So so they could park hop. Okay. That was my bad.
Okay.
Just trying to see if there's any other questions in here. While I do that, do you have any other questions? And I'll keep looking through here.
Oh, we do team members, virtual queue. We talked about that. The virtual queue is not every ride, right? Or is it every ride?
I think they're only doing it for rides that have quite a few people in line. because if it's a 5-minute walk up, you don't really need to do it.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's just for the rides that are going to be, more popular. But even with Hagrid's, when I got through the line with that, they had the social distance markers right from the start.
Mhm.
So I think, they're anticipating longer lines, but they're still saying, even if it is long, you're still going to make sure that you're social distancing. So I did see a lot of social distance stickers in the lines for the rides.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think when I went on the app, because I was curious, and they had all 3 Harry Potter rides. So it was Gringotts, Hagrid's, and Hogwarts on there. And I think I saw Reign of Kong, and I think I saw one other one on there. So I think it was only 5 between the 2 parks total.
That were what, virtual?
That virtual. So I'm
Okay.
thinking that's what they're going to go out with it.
Yeah, I don't think every ride they'll have it for. Because, I don't think every ride really needs it. And that's another thing, like with Universal, a lot of locals do go to that park. So we're not going to be riding Cat in the Hat that much, if we've already been on it a few times. Yeah.
So Make It Blue, a Disney adventure, is wondering, what did you think of the news of Universal opening up so quickly, long before a lot of the other parks, but, especially like Disney? Are you nervous about them opening up too soon, or?
No, because Universal is much smaller compared to Disney. Disney has 4 parks, 2 water parks. It's over almost close to 30 resorts, and Universal is on a much smaller scale. So I think it's easier to control all of the safety precautions on that level. And I don't know. I think, not to say that Universal's, I don't know how to phrase it, but Universal is not going to gloss over anything. If you need to put a mask on, I feel like they're going to tell you, whereas maybe Disney might be a little bit more, oh, it's okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not saying that Disney's going to, be lax with it, but I feel like Universal has a handle on it. Knock on wood, but I think that it's much easier to be able to follow those safety precautions with smaller parks.
Right.
Plus, how Universal set up, it's like one hub but everybody funnels through one area. So you have all your security check, your temperature check, all that in one area, and then it just funnels people out to the 2 parks. Whereas I think Disney, it's a lot harder because everything's so spread out. There's no central hub for all of this. I
wonder with Disney how they're going to do it with Magic Kingdom, because the monorails are fairly close quarters, and then the ferry boat, how are they going to make sure people social distance on the ferry boat? I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it, but it'll be interesting to see.
They were going to put markers down on the boat, but I don't know how that's going to work. The monorail, they could get to work. I just don't know.
Forever though.
So you could put 1 family per cabin, but I don't see that. How is that really going to work? You might as well not run the monorail.
Yeah.
And then are they going to clean each time someone uses it? Because they have the poles in there and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and we're staying at Polynesian, so we're on the resort monorail line for when we're at Disney, and the choices there are even more limited, right? Because I either take the monorail with all the stops and have all the people, and if it's only
walk.
Yeah.
Did
they finish that walkway yet?
I thought you could walk over. Is it still under construction?
No, they're putting a bridge from Grand Floridian to
I don't think
they finished it. I hope they finish it.
If they finish it, they'll walk. They're not solve it.
Yeah.
But then you can take those little platoon boats.
Yeah.
And there's no social distance. I mean, what are you going to get? Like 2 families on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. I think you're right. How are they going to handle the Magic Kingdom? Because I'm still not sure how they're going to be able to do that.
They're going to build a raft. Swim off all those gators. Never mind.
Yeah, no swimming.
All right, ATJH Trailers.
Yeah, thank you for coming in.
And have a good night. Try to see what else.
All right, so I don't see any other questions.
Okay, and I forgot about when you go put your ticket in, you have to put your finger. Did you have to do that?
No.
Do that. Okay.
And another thing I wanted to mention is if you're going to the park, try to pack light. if you have like a 3-prong fanny pack, they allow you to bring those on the rides where you would have to normally use a locker.
Okay.
But of course, some families you have, probably dad with the backpack of everything. So maybe have just one person have a big bag and everybody else carry a fanny pack, because they only allow one person from the group to go into the locker rooms to put the stuff away. So just keep that in mind to kind of pack light and fanny pack it up.
Yeah.
So you're saying I shouldn't take all my big bag with all my video gear in?
What, you see his big bag?
And they also have the lockers in the front of the park too that you can rent for the day.
Small camera bag.
Yeah, that's big.
Like 50 pounds.
Yeah, and you're going to be sweating already. Yeah, I would try to.
And then I have to go to the locker and try to jam it in the. It doesn't fit. But you
don't do too many
on the ride, so that's good. That's good to know.
You don't do too many thrill rides, though, right?
Well, we don't do Hulk and stuff, but if we go on Hagrid's, we have to put the
Hagrid, Mummy,
or the Mummy. You have to put it in there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. So welcome in Monarch Moments. Thank you for coming in. Pinball Princess Jillian, thank you for coming in. So you have other questions?
Other questions? Oh yeah, we were just talking about the locker situation. Do you do the thing? I know you have to put your fingerprint on that too, or do they open up the locker for you? How does that work?
So you get the locker by scanning your ticket. I don't think that they require you to do, if they're not requiring the finger at the front, then they're not going to require it at the, and I know that they have locker attendants inside always. So worst case scenario, if you can't get yours to open, they're always going to be there to help you open. But Universal has the 2 different sizes. So they have the, almost looks like a mail slot, that size to put your stuff, or they have the bigger lockers.
Yeah.
I would just try to carry one bag.
In the big lock. I'm like, argh!
Yeah. And they're not that big either. Yeah. So.
Orange Cone Vlog, thank you for coming in. And to remind, if you guys have any questions that you'd like Jillian to answer, Jillian. Lauren to answer.
That's his boss. That's why he said that. Jillian came in.
Just put it in the chat and we'll ask Lauren.
All right. So how did you feel about, I know this is a question everybody's asking. How did you feel about wearing the mask all day? Was it comfortable? Was it hot? Did you go in the stores? Did that help a little bit, or?
Yeah, I tried to take a lot of breaks. Sitting down to eat was a break. Trying to sit down and get some shade, some water. So I don't overdo it. And I think that helps, if you being a local, you've gone to the park so many times, you don't need to rush. You don't need to get through the day. So just take your time and relax. But even though I did feel hot and I was sweating, and ladies, if you wear makeup, it is going to come off. But it really wasn't a total inconvenience. The biggest inconvenience I had all day was the glasses, the 3D glasses fogging up on the rides and stuff, because you're whipping around and trying to manage your mask and the goggles and still enjoy the ride. So that was the biggest inconvenience for me anyway.
Did you get sunglasses during the day? Did they fog up at all?
I wore a hat and the mask, so I didn't wear any sunglasses. But yeah, I'm sure if you did wear them, they would fog up. Yeah,
because I know when I go to the store, I have to take my glasses off and just go blind, because with the mask, I can't see and it drives me nuts. So I'm like, either I can't see either way, so it don't matter.
But we're working on a video where we have 8 different types of masks that we've bought. Probably even more at this point, that we've tried out. There's actually a couple that I found that will not fog up your glasses.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that'll be in future video. Now, granted, I'm testing this in 80-degree heat.
Yeah.
That's not as humid as Florida and that.
Yeah. So,
but I'm hoping it's some kind of comparison.
Right. We're gonna test them out and give us your opinions, the material, the comfort, all that stuff. So.
Yeah.
And another thing that might help with social distancing and the heat is bring an umbrella if you can, because that'll give you your shade and you'll have that kind of blocker so no one gets too close.
Yeah.
So I want to welcome in Eric Newman.
He's just listening. Thanks for listening. What did she say?
So do you know if Universal is keeping any rides closed? So that Charlie.
The Born Stuntacular show hasn't opened yet. I was hoping to go see it But I think the shows right now, they're trying to figure out how to do that. So I don't think the shows are really open right now.
So like the Monsters horror makeup show was down?
Right, because right in front of that entrance for that attraction, they have that big stage where some of the characters like Beetlejuice and Marilyn Monroe, I saw they were going there to do like photo ops and perform and stuff. So I think the indoor shows are a no-go right now. But they do have performers outdoors. I walked past where the Blues Brothers perform, and they had the social distance stickers there. So they're already preparing for, the outdoor shows. But yeah, I wouldn't plan on having any of those indoor ones, like Jimmy Fallon, for example. I don't know if that was open or not, but
Oh, actually, that was the other one that I saw the virtual line for. So I
okay,
think
good. So yeah, Jimmy Fallon's good.
Fallon. So that leads me to wonder, Shrek was probably open as well, because I think it's similar.
Or what's the other one? Minions.
That one was open.
That one.
I know that
Minions was open.
Okay.
I get someone here. So I get Charlie here telling me to bring my Celtics mask so I can have players sign it. True, because the NBA is going to be at Disney.
Yeah.
I did see one other question here.
About Make It Blue right there, or Charlie too.
So Charlie again has another question. Are they forcing you to wear masks on all rides? So I know Jurassic Park, they allowed you to take it off, but do you know if there was any other rides where you could they didn't say you could just take it off?
Or is it just water rides that you don't have to wear the mask?
Yeah, I think it's just the water rides, because you're still sharing your ride vehicle with other people. Even though that you are 6 feet apart, you're still kind of in a smaller, like Spider-Man, for example. There are people in the front of me and then I'm in the far back. But yeah, I still wore my mask. It's just those 3D attractions. I would kind of try to lower it as much as I can to the point where it wasn't fogging up, but it was still kind of on my, covering my nose. But yeah, they want you to wear masks. So if that's the price you got to pay to go in, and just be safe about it.
We'll just keep going on Jurassic Park.
Well, but I saw someone was on Gringotts, and it was like what you said, Lauren. Someone in the front, second row, no one there in the third row. And if you're in the third row, you actually can see better now without having that second row. Right. So I think if you go in with some positivity, you may get a better ride experience with the low crowds, not as many people on the sharing the attraction with you. Right. It's almost a personalized experience. Yeah. So it seems like to me.
And I prefer that anyways. I mean, I hate when I go to a movie theater and I pick my seat and then all of a sudden someone sits next to me and it's like, you have the whole theater.
Yeah.
That's why you're sitting next to me.
Go sit over there.
You have so many options.
Yeah.
So I like having my space.
So Make It Blue has a question. For those who have autism or sensory needs, is there any info you can share to help special needs families?
I don't exactly know the procedures for that. I know that with any kind of special needs or disability or anything, you still will have to talk to guest relations or guest services. So that's all I can say, because they're the ones that make any kind of decision regarding anything. So I can't really give much feedback on this.
Her son, Charlie and Stacey's son, has autism, and they go to Universal, and I think they said they do a really good job at accommodating his needs. So
it's probably is there like people are probably wondering, is there special accommodations for certain people for the masks, or
I'm not sure.
Line is
right.
I would say to go on Universal's website, and they have like a whole fact sheet. And that probably addresses it there, but you probably still have to go to guest services and speak to them on that.
Okay, cool. Stacy's wondering, is there going to be masked police throughout the park?
Masked police.
I mean, I hope. I hope so. I like that.
Oh, masked police.
Oh, what did you say?
I was like police officers with masks.
No.
Oh man.
No, just regular masks, police. Yeah, I kind of hope so, because I mean, you get some people that just want to do things their way, and that's unfortunate, and you don't want one person to ruin it for everybody else. So I would hope that they have some kind of person keeping an eye on it. Did you see at Gatorland they had that skunk ape that's going around
yeah.
and like
That was
Oh, really?
yeah, there's a guy dressed up as a skunk ape, and he's going around, put it on your mask, you know, he's like,
yeah.
I need
He's
something
like yelling at people.
King
Yeah.
Kong or something funny,
Yeah.
or even Beetlejuice, he'd be hilarious. But have it fun, but telling you what to do at the same time.
Yes.
Exactly.
So James Ryan's got a question. So are Universal Resorts opening tomorrow? And if they are not, do you know when?
I don't. I'm sorry. I just say keep an eye on Universal's social media and
Actually, James,
sometimes. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to say I think they are already open because I did watch a vlogger that went to the AP preview and he was actually staying at Dockside.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So I'm thinking
Maybe not all, but some.
but some. I think at least some are open from what I can
Well,
see.
it makes sense if they open up the parks, they're going to have to open up the resorts. You know.
I just know that, travel isn't what it is normally, and not as many people are coming from other countries like Brazil and the UK. So they're not expecting all of their hotels to be filled. So maybe that's why. But yeah, I didn't even know when they were opening. So I'm glad that some of them are opening.
Before I get to my next question, I want to stay on the resorts. So we're staying at Dockside, and we get a really good deal on a 2-bedroom suite. I think it was like $114 a night.
Yeah, for like
Yeah, which is an unbelievable deal. I think I've seen you stayed there. I think it's on one of your videos.
I stayed at the surf side, so the one right across the street.
Yeah. But we're worried. Should we change that to like something that's we're saying closer, but like to Cabana Bay? And the reason why we're wondering that is for transportation reasons. So typically, without COVID, we would take either the boat or the shuttle to the parks and then walk back at night. Have a long walk, but we don't mind it. I know you can walk to like backside and surf side, but I don't know if I really want to be going over that bridge on I-4 and then having to cross.
Yeah, it's too hot for that.
Yeah. But what would you suggest if you were us? I mean, we have keep in mind we have a 2-bedroom suite at Dockside, and we will have our own car. Should we just stick with that and maybe think about just driving ourselves? Because we do get free parking because we're AP holders. Or should we go to something like Cabana Bay or Aventura or something like that?
I've been wanting to stay at Cabana Bay for a long time because I want to try out that lazy river, and I like that they have the bowling alley.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, Cabana Bay is our favorite resort at Universal, by the way.
I love it.
Yeah, I've never stayed, but I have walked through, and it's a great. I love the theming a lot. But if you're just going to sleep and you're just using the resort to sleep, I would say stick with what you have. And the shuttle ride is very quick. I mean, it took less than 5 minutes when we were there to get over. So I would say if you're just, staying at the resort just to sleep and shower, then stay at the Dockside. But if you want a little bit more, you want to take a break from the parks maybe and enjoy the resort more, then I would say stay with Cabana Bay then, or go with Cabana Bay.
Yeah, and typically we do that during the summertime. We like to go back, rest, at the room or go to the pools. But seeing the parks are closing, I think 6, it probably doesn't leave us time to really do that. So I think we have
to see what the hours are going to be because they might change that by August.
Now the other thing is we noticed we could get the Royal Pacific. I think for $250 a night.
Yeah, something like that.
And that includes Express Pass. So they are Universal's still going to have Express Pass, which is at least $70 a person. So for a family of 4, that's $280
a day, right?
A day
and
for Express Pass.
5 days. So.
But I'm paying, $250 for a room. Would we be better off spending double the cost for a resort, say, to stay at Pacific Royale?
When is your trip?
End of August.
I don't know, because that's really not like a crazy time for the parks.
Yeah.
Because kids start to go back to school. I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it this year if anything changes, but kids start to normally go back to school around August. So I wouldn't think that it would be crazy busy. But if the crowd levels are crazy, then I would say, get that express pass because it's worth it.
Right.
Yeah, we've never used Express Pass.
Yeah, it's worth it.
No, we never did it.
All right, just you got any couple of other questions? Do you have anything you want to offer up before we ask?
I think we covered out because I wrote a cheat sheet here, so I think I covered everything. So normally with the 3D glasses, you would go and pick one up from the bin, but the team members at the attractions are handing them to you there, so you're not reaching in where everybody else is reaching.
And the other thing that I saw in your video is for like Gringotts, no pre-shows of any sort, right?
Yes. Same with ET. Yeah, you just walk right through because those are areas where they're going to shut the doors and keep you all together. So yeah, they're just having everybody walk on through. And when I went through Hagrid's, I don't know if it was a mistake or not, but some of the lights were on, like in that area that they have all the creature things, like they have cages and posters. That room there, I could actually see in there. Wow. Normally I couldn't. So yeah, I don't know if they're gonna keep doing that or not, but that kind of helps in darker lines too, so that you can see where you're going and not have to touch the handrails.
Okay.
It was Stacy.
Yeah. Do you know? I know Universal is limiting the number of people into the park. Have you heard about how many people there?
What's the capacity they're gonna?
No, they haven't said.
Okay.
And I did have, this is the most important question.
Hold on. And Charlie wants you do more than one virtual line at once. Charlie, what I saw is once you schedule once you schedule a virtual to get into a virtual line, you have to let that pass before you can schedule another one.
Is that right, Lauren?
And that's how it worked with Express too. If you're waiting for an attraction and it's over 30 minutes, they would write a return time for you to come back. So I know that that's how it works normally with Express. So that's probably the case why they don't want you to double up, because there's really not that many rides, like you mentioned earlier, that are offering that virtual queue. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's probably why, they want to also keep the attendance in check at the attractions. They're not too overcrowded or anything.
But one big advantage to that is we get to, if you're staying at the resorts, you can get into the park an hour early. You can try some of those rides.
Well, you can get it's just Harry Potter, right? That's open.
I think
is it everything?
From my side, I think they had a lot more opening at least this time from some of the videos I've seen. So you can do some stuff within that hour, and then the virtual line opens up when the rest of the park opens up with everybody else. Okay. All right, you had a question?
Yeah, my very important question that everyone wants to know. And it's not. Can you still use the freestyle Coke machines?
Yes, that is a hot topic. I saw in Seuss Landing, right before you get to the restrooms there, that Coke machine had a team member at it. Okay. So I think the team members are the ones that are going to have to fill it for you. They're wearing gloves. Mm-hmm. But I didn't see all of them open. And same with the quick service stands, like the hot dog stand or the pretzel stand. I didn't see all of those open either. So I don't know if that's to, not have people bunched up in line at those areas, maybe just to keep the traffic flow going. But yeah, not everything is going to be open as far as like those kind of things. Cool.
Yeah. So Charlie's saying, he was seeing people booking Hagrid's on virtual queue and return time wasn't until 5. So Charlie, I'm not too sure. I think I've also was hearing that possibly they were being the first time that they're using the virtual queue for all these rides, that they were running into some issues that they need to still iron out. But I think that's something we'll definitely have to keep an eye on. But also keep in mind, I think there was only, when I went into the app, there was only 5 rides, and I know it was the 3 Harry Potter rides. It was Jimmy Fallon and King
Kong.
I think the Hulk was on there too.
The Hulk, that probably was the other one. But it wasn't. It was a small number of rides. I was more worried that it was going to be every ride in the park, and how is that all
Yeah,
going
but
to work?
if your time is until 5 p.m. and you get this in the morning, then you
I-
can't do another virtual all day. That would be stinky.
That's kind of how it was for Rise of the Resistance too. I mean,
Yeah.
you would
Yeah.
get that and have to wait all day until you read that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's something that they're gonna have to keep an eye on, and maybe if the attendance is too much, maybe they'll limit it. I don't know, but they haven't really said how many people they're letting in, and I think they're kind of just playing it by ear. Like today, for example, I know people went and then it rained, so a lot of people left. And then the people that were coming in later in the day, they were like, "There's no one here. It's great," because everyone left from the rain. So yeah, I think you just have to play things by ear and keep an eye on the app because it'll tell you how long the wait times are too. So you know what areas to kind of go to and which ones to avoid.
Yeah, so I know our trips in August. I know the Disney Nerd Herders are going in August. Where I know at least us two are around the same time. I'm thinking a lot's going to change from now until then. Is going to be my guess.
And of course, with the whole pandemic going on, we have to keep an update on that and make sure that those numbers, you know, are going down
Yes.
before we, you know, open up more and more and more. Because of course, they're going to want, you know, bigger crowds, especially being closed for a few months. But it's just kind of a safety issue. So I'm glad they are limiting the crowds, and hopefully it's just successful.
Yeah.
So I know Florida, they're opening up a lot of stuff now, right?
So tomorrow we start phase 2. Ron DeSantis was actually at Universal doing like a little, I don't know, talk saying, you know, what is all going to be reopening. So they mentioned the bars and restaurants and things are going to be opening up, but we have a curfew in place. So downtown Orlando is only able to be open, you know, anything is able to be open till 8 p.m. And then the rest of Orlando is 10. So that kind of makes it difficult for those restaurants to be open for, you know, dinner and later. But yeah, as time goes on, maybe things will start to reopen more. I think it's just a waiting game to see how it all is.
Curfew is temporary, right? For all the other things going on.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And oh, wait a minute. Is Dippin' Dots open? Sophie wants to know.
Dippin'
Stacey
Dots?
wants to know if Dippin' Dots at Universal's open. They have a Dippin' Dots card or something.
I don't remember seeing if it was open or not. I tried to go to Voodoo Donuts and they were closed when I was there. But I just saw they reopened. I think they're reopening now at 8 a.m. So, because they just put out a donut for the 30th anniversary for Universal.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm trying to try that soon.
National Donut Day. So.
Yeah.
So they have to be open.
Yes.
All right, so we're coming up to the top of the hour. Do you have any other questions? Or do you want to have anything to add, Lauren? Hopefully, the chat found this to be helpful, especially if you're planning the trip to Universal.
Yeah. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Twitter or YouTube, Instagram. It's Lauren's Travels all around. And yeah, I'm trying to reach 500 subscribers. So check out my channel if you're interested. My next video that I'm going to be doing is kind of like a time warp video where I show some buildings that were here from the 50s or have importance from the 50s and 60s, and then talk a little bit about Orlando history in the 50s and 60s. And then my next video after that is going to be my theme park history video. And I want to talk about Seuss Landing at Islands of Adventure.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, her history videos are pretty cool. I mean, it's different Florida history and theme park history. They're really interesting.
Yeah, so check out her channel. Let's try to help her get to 500 subscribers. Keep marching forward.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else going on, or?
I just really want people to spread positivity wherever they can. Everyone's going through rough stuff right now, and there's a lot of links being passed around, you know, helpful links for where you can donate or sign petitions. So just try to do your part in that way and be nice to each other.
Yep, I agree.
And we got a really good Disney community that really care about each other and care about everybody. So it's always positive here. So that's why we like doing this.
Yeah.
Because I guess away
Yes.
from the badness, all the
Exactly.
going on. This is like a little say vacation from it.
Yeah.
So, and I like,
Yeah,
and
and And the theme parks are our happy place. So yeah, it's
Right.
we want all the good things to happen for our happy places and keep the safety measures in place.
Right.
All right. What do we have going on? I think Sunday's video, someone went onto the Universal Shop website
Woo!
and bought a bunch of stuff. So we're going to show you some Universal haul on Sunday. And I think you guys will like it. I was interested in some of the stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that'd be a lot of fun. And then next Thursday, we'll be live again at 9 o'clock.
We don't know what
we're going to talk about. We want to talk about dinner reservations for our Christmas trip. But seeing that it's going to 60 days, it doesn't make sense to be talking about that now.
Yeah.
If it was 180.
Yeah, then it'd be different, but we can't do it until after our other vacation anyway. So
Yeah.
it'd be silly. So we'll think of something else to talk about.
And make sure you just check out the live place. That's a good place to go if you're looking for other live streamers. When are they streaming in times?
Yeah. It's like the TV guide of live. Disneyland.
Mostly Disney, but there's other
There's a
non-Disney
few
ones
that
out
is
there.
not. And everyone in the chat is great. So if you want to check out their channels as well.
Yep.
I know Disney Nerd Herd is there on Sunday. We're going to be on their channel. They're having their 2-year anniversary of being on YouTube.
So 11 a.m.
11 a.m. So we're going to jump on there to celebrate with them.
Congrats, nerd herders.
Okay.
Oh, everything was canceled.
Yeah.
All the dining was canceled.
All right, everyone. Lauren, thank you for joining.
joining
And,
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
And everyone in the chat, thanks for stopping by, saying hi, and hopefully you enjoy this.
And hope you learned something and got some good tips that you can keep in the back of your mind, just in case.
All right, so we'll see. I'm sure we'll see each other in other live streams, and until next week, we'll see you.
Everyone have a good night. Good
All right.
night, everybody.
Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.